Welcome back to episode 39 of The Reset with me, Sean Tucker. I'm just changing things up a little bit, moving the energy and, seeing where we go with this podcast, what it will be. Something I've been thinking about lately is what we resist persists. What I mean by that is if we're resistant to doing the hard work that we know will actually get us the results. And if I reflect on my life right now, I practice yoga every day. And I know that if I stop taking stimulants like coffee, if I stop consuming a buttload of sugar, it's going to be hard. But I know what will help that. And that is actually getting up earlier to do my yoga practices. Because what happens when you practice yoga and you do this for a continuous period of time and on a consistent basis, you start letting go. You start realizing that the habits that you have been doing for such a long time, they no longer serve you. And I already know that they don't serve me anymore. Part of me is afraid of letting go and letting go of myself, letting go of that version of myself that relied on those things to survive. And I guess this episode is a bit of a declaration for me to really commit for the next 40 days and just do the work, not rely on caffeine and not rely on sugar to get me through the day. And I bet some of you are wondering, or maybe looking in your own life right now and asking yourself, oh, I cut out sugar years ago. I don't drink coffee. Or maybe you have 6 cups a day. I don't know. We all have an addiction to something. I used to be addicted to going to the gym. I know I was addicted to how I looked, obsessed with how I looked in the mirror and not being happy with what I saw back. And I don't know if I've shared it on this podcast, but I've definitely shared it in other places. How I looking back when I was doing my natural bodybuilding competition, I'm not proud of how I looked. I'm pretty proud that I committed myself to the process and overcoming the obstacles that got in the way. And for me to achieve that look, but I'm not happy with how I looked because I didn't come first, right? And it's not about being happy. I'm actually thrilled that I was able to achieve what I achieved. But from an aesthetics point of view, I didn't perform as well as I could have. I didn't look as good as I could have. And I won't link it in this podcast, but I will share a post about it on social media. There was a photo of me probably a week later, and we did a side-by-side comparison on show day versus actually a week later. And I looked a million times better a week later because my body was fueled. And what a time to be speaking about fuel. I mean, fuel prices are out of this world, expensive, but I'm not going to get into that because what you resist persists. And if you complain a lot about something, Doesn't matter if it's fuel prices or Trump or, what's going on in the world. Oftentimes it'll keep going until you let go. Until you really, truly let go of what is bothering you, it'll keep bothering you. And I guess this is where obsessive compulsive disorder comes from. I mean, disorder, the word disorder literally just means it's out of order. Right? If we're looking at the cycle of that disorder, it means that it's just happening again and again, and there's no way to fix it. Right? It's just a repeating pattern that we can't actually fix. And the funny thing is, there is nothing to fix. For those who have been following this podcasting journey, for those who have been following my journey, I hope that some of what I'm speaking is making sense, because honestly, I don't know. It makes sense to me, but it may not make sense to you. And I've had a really big realization today in what I'm focusing on in my business. And for the longest time, I've been stuck at a point of indecision, not knowing what to focus on, not knowing who to help, because reality is we live in this time of there's an abundance of choice. And what's really funny is when you have an abundance of choice, it doesn't matter what choice you make, because every choice is a great choice. But what if I make the wrong choice is the thought pattern that I had instilled in my mind that actually held me back for a long time. Because if I go all in on something, if you know a little bit about me, I committed myself to 9 months of basically dieting for a bodybuilding show after lifting for about 10 or so years. I had lifted weights, been in the gym with resistance training, decided now's the time to go and do a natural bodybuilding competition. And I dedicated myself 100%. I completed 75 hard during that preparation to really dial in my mindset. And, I weighed everything to the gram. Like my coach told me to have 250 grams of sweet potato for one of the meals. Okay, cool. If I can't hit exactly 250 grams, I won't ever go over that gram limitation. So if it's 251, I've got to take off a gram. And I was meal prepping twice a week to keep up with the food volume that I had to eat. And most recently last year, I entered in a 20-week Fighter Warrior training camp to enter the octagon at the end and face an opponent who's gone through the same training camp as me. For those of you who know the results, of course, I got TKO'd in 16 seconds. But my point is not that I lost, it's the point that I committed myself. I made a choice and I committed myself to the training, to the night, to the evening where we fought. There was many moments where I could have run away and said, this is not for me. But I did it. All right. And looking at what we resist, what we resist persists. If I am trying to overcome my mind, if I'm trying to run away from something, that force, that strength, that demon, that whatever you want to call it, is only going to get stronger. It's only going to keep persisting. And if I'm to truly let it go, it means I need to do the work. And the funny thing is, we always know what work needs to be done. We're either just too scared to go all in, or we get distracted in the process. Usually because of the former. We're too scared to go all in. Who will I become if I let go of who I am right now? And so what I'm focusing on for the next 6 months is helping you learn how to breathe. Because I had many different modalities that I use in my mentoring, in my practice, in my teaching, so I can help other dads, and I've worked with mums before, of course, other human beings become better. The breath is right here. The breath is right in front of you. It's one thing that we have full control over at any one given moment. However, how many people are actually breathing consciously or even just noticing their breath? I know when I go into a fight response or flight response, like I did in the octagon, I absolutely stop breathing. And, you can have all the training in the world. But until you really experience what it is that you're facing, you're never going to know how to overcome it again. And so this is why I do what I do. I run free Sunday morning workouts for dads in my local area. Because fitness is about showing up. Fitness is about consistency. Learning how to breathe. That's a whole different level, because what that does is when you really truly become one with your breath, thought patterns change, your behaviors change, who you are fundamentally changes, because you're allowing the space for it to happen. So if you want to keep on going on the path of resisting and have that persisting pain or thing in your body or in your mind, then maybe this podcast is not for you. But if you want to really change and upgrade who you are, then keep listening. Make sure you subscribe to this podcast so you can get exclusive access to what I'll be doing, all the events I'll be running. And yeah, I actually have a breathwork event coming up next month on April 19th here in Southeast Melbourne. There are very limited spots. We only have 12 spots. I haven't even released it yet to the public. I haven't built a landing page or anything. So for those who want to experience what breathwork can do for them, maybe you've been feeling a little bit stuck emotionally, stuck in your life and not really knowing what the next step is. This is about having a space where you can come in and have your own inner guidance come up for you. You can allow space for your own inner guidance. That's what that breathwork is all about. So if you want to learn more, make sure you send me a DM on social media or shoot me an email. You can send it to sean@seantucker.com.au. Make sure you get a place. Tickets are $100 Australian, and it'll only be a one-time offer. I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing breathworks ever again. Make sure you get in. If you don't get in this time, I'm not sure if there'll be a next time. So yeah, if you got value out of this episode, make sure you share it with one person. And for now, take care. Have a great one. And I look forward to seeing you in tomorrow's episode. Thanks for tuning in.